Hey homeschoolers, I'm Melissa Webb, former full-time classroom teacher and homeschool mom turned full-time business CEO. I am determined and dedicated to helping you in this journey that you're on. Yes, I want to give you sound, educational, practical tips and advice, at the same time making sure that you're enjoying the family journey that you are on. So if you are looking for a place to be encouraged and inspired, you have found the perfect podcast. Homeschooling is a work of heart, is truly the perfect place to start. So welcome. Let's jump in. Hello, homeschoolers. You know, as I was getting ready today, I cranked up Mercy Me in my bathroom and I could just feel my spirits lift because music does that. And I love uplifting music when I'm getting ready and starting my day. It has such a big impact. And I'm curious if you do that as well. And that, of course, got me thinking about the importance of music and how music and learning in your home go hand in hand. Part of why we decided to homeschool our middle son, he was the first one that we decided to homeschool, was because of his ADHD. He was in the 5th grade at the time, and every year I would hear from his teachers in our local school, which was a fabulous elementary school, but he had this inability to focus for any length of time. And it was a challenge. It had been a challenge. It slowed down the learning process for him. And I knew as a teacher myself that could be difficult in a classroom. Now, we were not interested in medicating him. He didn't have behavioral outbursts of any sort. So trying to calm him didn't seem like something we needed to do. We did want him to focus more, but from what we could see, medication didn't seem like the best fit for us. So we started to explore other options, and one of those ended up being to have his brain scanned through the Amen Clinic in Newport Beach. Dr. Daniel Amen is a brain neuroscientist. He's amazing. He's written books. Definitely somebody you want to check out if this is anything that interests you. Now, at the time, it was quite pricey, and no, of course not. Insurance wasn't covered, but we still decided that it would be worth the look. So we went ahead and had that done. I will tell you that the information that we received was very, very helpful. Adam's brain scan showed that he had 4 of the 7 strands of ADHD. And like all of this talking right now, so many things are coming back for me. Obviously, this was a long time ago. I am talking 15 years ago. But is this a topic, ADHD, that you would like me to explore or discuss in greater detail on an episode in the future? Please let me know. If you ever have interests, topics that you would like me to delve into, I am happy to oblige. Anyway, what we learned from that experience was that there were many natural approaches, the more homeopathic ways you could go, such as using these daily fish oil gels, an orange flavor. And we also decided to homeschool. That was a good option for us, because there I could provide shorter study sessions, and adding in music was recommended, because for Adam's brain, or people who have a brain that is easily distracted, having background music, classical, think piano, think instrumental of some sort, those sounds in the background engaged parts of his brain so that the other parts could focus on what it was we were studying. That's fascinating, right? The thing wasn't to stop his brain from being distracted. It was to distract it with something beneficial. And music was one of those answers. So I thought we could talk about music and some of the latest neuroscience findings And I thought I would cover this week who benefits most from having music in a learning moment or a learning time, maybe even throughout your whole home at certain times. I also thought I could talk about when music is best played and what kinds of music you may want to consider. So if the who, when, and what of music does interest you, you're going to love this episode. So let's go ahead and jump in. First off, let's talk about who benefits most from music. Now, this is based on the different brain types, the different learning styles that are out there. What I will say to each of these categories that I wanted to just mention today is that every child is different. You know that. Every family is different. And it's a trial and error type of experiment that you're going to need to do. You're going to have to try the different things. As well, if you have some experiences and want to share those, I would love to hear what has worked for you as well. For one, I've always been a fan of having music for any auditory learners because they benefit from music, from rhythm, from melody as memory aids. So if you have a child who learns best by listening, use music to its full advantage. They will likely memorize with more ease if you're doing that with music or using songs to do some of those things. Children who are easily distracted, music is good for them, especially classical or the lo-fi kind of music. It provides structure and balance. It does reduce distractions. It also can aid in sustaining attention for longer periods of time. Try it. The third group of people that I think benefit most are highly creative kiddos. These are the right brain dominant children because music enhances imagination. It gets the brain to think in different ways. And if you also have highly creative children, they may be more emotional. Music can help regulate those emotions. The fourth group are neurodivergent children. So think of children whose brains function differently than what is considered typical. Neurodivergent students maybe have ASD, autism spectrum disorder, could be ADHD or ADD. It could be children with Down syndrome or Tourette syndrome. So these children, as a group, as a whole, tend to respond well to music in their home or in their school setting because it can regulate sensory input. It has been proven to reduce anxiety, especially with predictable, calming music. So think the same music, the same time, on the same days. That predictability can really be calming for a lot of children, especially those who are neurodivergent. Now, as far as ages, it depends again. So I think back to when I taught kindergarten in first grade and I had young students. Music is so important. It really can strengthen the auditory process. And with young children, it can help with phonemic awareness. So if you're in any of those early literacy instructional stages, not only playing music, but learning things to music can be super beneficial. When your kids are a little older, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, kind of those upper elementary grades, 3rd through 5th grade, music also can enhance memory, the emotional regulation, and help with focus when it's paired with rhythm-based learning. So it's a great time to introduce musical instruments. This way, children aren't just listening to music, they actually start to feel it in their hands. They're making the music. It's a great time to be doing that. And if you have more independent learners, your older kiddos, your tweens and your teens, those kiddos, they're going to pretty much by that time know what works for them. And I will tell you, these great conversations that I have with some of my older students, they are very honest. And some of them say that they focus better with music in the background, But others say, oh my goodness, it distracts me. So just keep in mind, every person is different. You need to have these conversations, because if it distracts while you're doing some form of complex thinking, like reading comprehension, or you're doing a critical analysis, and that sound in the background is aggravating, it's going to have the opposite effect. So again, I recommend experimenting. And you can either clue your kids in that you're experimenting or don't. But either way, you could assign a task, maybe like completing a math page, try it with music in the background, and then on another day, do another page without the music. And pay close attention to a few things. Notice the completion rate, like how quickly or slowly are they completing the work. But also notice their mood. Are they calmer? Are they more anxious? And then look at the accuracy. Maybe they got it done super fast, but they rushed through it. So those three things really matter. You always want to pay attention to that as you're making these decisions. The second thing I wanted to talk about, besides the who benefits from having music, I really think all kids in one way, form, or another can benefit from it. But there's also the when to consider. When is it best to play music? When can music enhance the activities? So according to cognitive research, repetitive or automatic tasks pair very well. So think of handwriting practice, coloring pages, copy work. Those repetitive or automatic tasks that do not take a lot of critical thinking while they're doing it can benefit from some background music. Anything that is memory related, this would be the second thing that you want to consider as far as choosing when to play music. So songs or rhythm-based repetition can improve retention. So think like you're memorizing your multiplication tables, or you're doing spelling practice on these words that you're learning. To even do things in a sing-song tone, to have music in the background, using music in any type of those rhythm-based repetition moments can be very beneficial. The third time that it's great to play music would be when there's creative work happening. So your child's journaling, painting, building with blocks, working on a science model. They're doing something creatively. Again, it's going to enhance the time that they're working on it, especially with instrumental music. And we'll talk about the kinds of music in just a second. But that can set a tone without being distracting. So again, there's not complex thinking, high-level comprehension, critical thinking happening. And I often think of creative time, especially for younger kids, any kind of free play time. You could be playing music. Again, when I was teaching in the classroom, when I had younger children, and even in our own home, we would be playing Baby Beluga, any of the Raffi songs, just having that music while they're being imaginative and playing. It's just a beautiful combination. And then lastly, a great time to play music is whenever you're doing a movement type of break, and any kind of break really, because music's going to encourage physical engagement and brain-body integration. It's kind of like the wiggle time, the transition time. Say your children are coming into the kitchen and they're standing there with their graham crackers and their apple slices, and they're putting peanut butter on them. And you've got some fun music playing, maybe even something with lyrics, and they're moving and they're dancing and they're singing out loud. It's a great time to get their bodies moving, and again, kind of getting those wiggles out. So those are wonderful times to play music. The last thing I just thought I would mention, though, is also the kinds of music that work best. So once again, this is based on neuroscience findings, and there are so many factors. Your child is the number one factor that you must consider because not all children like the same kinds of music. So keep that in mind. Another factor is what is it you're working on? Because anything with lyrics is probably going to be more distracting than just some guitar or piano in the background, just instrumental music. So keep all of those things in mind. But here are 5 kinds of music that do work well in your home or in a study space. So number 1, my most favorite would be classical music. Like the Baroque era, think Bach, Handel, Mozart. It's been proven that focus increases and emotions calm down. They've actually synchronized brainwave activity based on this kind of music. Now, Beethoven is great too, but Beethoven doesn't actually fall into the Baroque era, more like the classical era. So try different things and see what works for you. The second kind of music that works great is what's called lo-fi or chill instrumental types of music. It can be very popular with teens because it does promote a relaxed, non-stimulating environment, but they may not feel that it's as old school as classical music is. So just keep that in mind. Try it out. What's so nice today is you can ask Alexa or Google to play things for you. You can create playlists. You can have your children create their playlists. There's just a lot you can do with this. But the third kind of music that is worth considering would be to just have nature sounds. These ambient or atmospheric soundtracks. Think of rain or waterfall, birds, tweeting. Again, maybe since it's spring, even just opening up the windows so that they can hear the birds and get some of the atmospheric sounds happening. This reduces stress. It can improve mood. So especially great for anxious learners or, again, children who are distracted by classical music or even the lo-fi kind of music. Nature sounds, being that they're more natural, for a lot of children, they really enjoy that. It's also why sometimes going outside to do some of your learning, to go journal outside, to take a science sketchbook and just listen to the sounds around you. That is a beautiful sound of music. The fourth kind of music is music with lyrics. Now, the thing with music with lyrics is that it can often distract if somebody's trying to read or they're really thinking about what it is they're writing. But during a break or while they're doing chores, by all means, do consider it. And that ties in well with the last one, and that would be any culturally familiar music. I can't help but think of "We Are Family." Dun, 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 dun. Okay, you get it, right? But there are a lot of culturally familiar musical songs, or maybe even from a different culture that you like. If you have student chosen music, maybe they have favorite songs. Again, you could have different playlists for this, but that will increase emotional engagement. It also increases motivation. This can be so helpful if you have a resistant learner. You have to try it if you haven't tried it. But again, those songs as well are really best utilized during a break time or maybe during physical education. You guys are going to go outside. You're practicing how to dribble a basketball. You turn up those tunes and just let the music play. It can be a really positive experience. Okay, so what do you think? Is your brain going? Are you like, okay, I definitely have some of those who's. I either have auditory learners or I have children with ADHD, or maybe you have a neurodivergent kiddo in your home, or you have a highly creative or right brain dominant child, right? If you have kids anywhere from being kinder to teens, that's the perfect time. It really can fit for almost anybody. But again, remember the when is the best time. Think of the things that don't require a lot of deep focus. If you're going to be playing anything that would have lyrics or be so catchy that you see that they're dancing along. Instead, if you really want to work on focus and memorization, which are great times to play music, just go back into the instrumental or the nature sounds and try them all. Try them all. Try classical, try lo-fi, try nature sounds. Play some songs that your family loves. You're not going to know unless you try. And lastly, just a few reminders, some things to consider. Not all brains benefit from music equally. So if you know you have a child with high sensitivity or auditory processing issues, you may already know it could overstimulate them or it could distract them. So try it out, but don't be discouraged if it just doesn't work for you. It will work in some places, in some ways. You just have to find where those places are. And again, remember the type of task matters because lyrics can impair verbal learning tasks like the reading and the writing, whereas rhythm can help more of the procedural or the motor skills. So just kind of keep those in mind as you choose the task to match the right or best kind of music. And don't forget that volume and tempo also matter. So having it too loud or too soft, too fast-paced or too slow. Just know like loud and fast-paced music does increase heart rates. Loud and fast music can create anxiety. You will do best to find the more moderate tempos and soft volumes for schoolwork time. That helps most with focus. And keep the other music for all the celebratory, get up and move and groove moments, but find the music that works best for you and your kiddos. I just know you'll love this. Right on. Well, thanks so much for tuning in and listening this week. Hey, if this was something that you found valuable, don't forget you want to subscribe or follow so that every time a new episode is dropped, you'll be the first to know. And hey, before you go, if you are looking to get some of this academic writing under your belt and outsourced so that it's one less thing, freeing you up to enjoy more time with your family, hey, you're going to want to head over to writeonweb.com to see what kinds of resources and materials I have available for you. I will look forward to seeing you there, and I will look forward to seeing you here in our next episode. Right on.